Starmer is to meet Melody for advice on tackling small boat migration. I'm going to read into this more from the Financial Times, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from the Financial Times with the headline that Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, is to meet Melody for advice on tackling small boat migration. The British Premier has promised tougher border measures and to smash the gangs that smuggle people. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share this across social media so others are notified of this video. So, we know that this government is made it very clear that they're determined to tackle the gangs and drive down the numbers and all that kind of stuff, saying a lot of the same kind of similar rhetoric that we heard from the Conservatives. But the one of the differences is that I do generally believe that Labour will actually get will get the numbers down to a certain extent. And the reason being is the Conservative government, the last Conservative government, didn't bother processing a lot of those that were already here. Now the question is which is a lot of people on their mind, is how do you stop them coming in the first place? Well, you know, to try to stop them coming in the first place. And the thing is, you can't always stop people. And the thing is that we don't have legal routes for people to come to the UK. There are no legal routes, unless, of course, you're Ukrainian or Hong Kong. And I think one or two other countries, there is no legal way for you to actually come to the UK. So they're stuck with choosing between two options, and that is paying smugglers to cross on dinghy boats to cross over to Channel to try to come to the UK, or try and hide on trucks and whatnot that come through the Eurotunnel to get to the UK. So one of those two options. Excuse me. So one of those two options there. So, for those who don't know, Italy, they have a bit of a right-wing sort of government, shall we say. And the way they deal with immigration there, and I think we have to, very, very important context is that you can't really make the same comparison with Italy than with the UK, because Italy is basically on the Mediterranean, pretty much, yeah, where most migrants who come from North Africa coming to try and cross the Mediterranean, they normally get picked up by Italy. So their situation is a lot more difficult for them. And also, some of those people who do go through Italy don't want to stay in Italy and actually want to go to other European countries, i.e. the UK as such. Now their situation is, my understanding is that what they do is they process people in Albania. They're taken to Albania to be processed, and the Italian government has its own officials there in Albania that basically takes them to Albania and processes them there as a means to actually process them in Italy themselves. And then they'll decide whether or not they can accept or reject their application as well. So what exactly is Keir Starmer looking at here by getting advice from the Italian Prime Minister from what Italy are doing when it comes to migration? This is the question. And also as well, I think, I should also add as well, which is another important point, is that Italy do have obviously deals with Tunisia and Libya on the North African countries. The North African countries obviously which help reduce a lot of migration as well, because they've been paid a lot of money to step up to stop more people crossing on boats and whatnot as well, because I think to try and help stop the numbers of people coming to Europe as well. So there is that as well. But why is Keir Starmer doing this? What's Keir Starmer doing by talking to Melody for advice? And I suppose some people may argue, well, there's nothing wrong with talking to other leaders and whatnot about how they deal with immigration. I guess that's true, but could this be more than just a discussion and whatnot? So let's read into this, guys. So Keir Starmer will on Monday, so it'll already happen by the time you get to see this, will hold talks with Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni to learn from her tough stance on irregular migration, as she named a senior police officer as the UK's border security chief. Mario Hewitt will head the new border security command, which Starmer claims will have the legal and coordinating clout to tackle the criminal network smuggling migrants across the English Channel. 8 people died trying to make the crossing on Sunday. The appointment is intended to signal Starmer's robust approach to migration, with Downing Street saying he wants to learn how Meloni cut irregular sea crossings to Italy by migrants by 60% in a year. It's again like, well, they're on the cusp. They threw a lot of money apparently at the North African countries to stop it, Libya and Tunisia. So, I mean, we are throwing money at France to stop them crossing over, but people are still crossing though. Just 44,678 irregular migrants have arrived in Italy by boat so far this year, and it's down sharply from 125,800 in the same period last year, and from 65,500 from the first 8.5 months in 2022, when Mario Draghi was still in office as Prime Minister. Starmer said he was open to processing asylum claims offshore, an idea Meloni is working on with Albania, and will do whatever works, says a senior British official, but other aspects of Meloni's approach are attracting more UK interest. So Keir Starmer is saying, so they're not ruling out the possibility of doing a similar scheme with another country. I'm not so sure that's a good idea. It's not in the interest of migrants. The easiest answer is obviously safe legal routes, but we know this government ain't going to do that. Starmer is particularly interested with the success of the so-called Rome process adopted by Meloni last year, which saw Italy forge deals with North African countries, including Tunisia, to tackle people smuggling gang in countries where they operate and return migrants. Two people briefed on Starmer's thinking said there were aspects of the scheme that his government was drawing on as part of efforts to smash the gang and people smugglers, bringing people across the continent towards Britain. Hewitt, a police chief with 30 years of experience on national security and tackling senior crime, also coordinated police enforcement of Britain's COVID response. And then he will travel to Rome with Starmer and hold talks with Meloni on migration as part of his wider attempt to improve relations with the EU capitals. Downing Street has claimed Hewitt, who will be charged with working with European partners to break smuggling gangs, would have the ability to bring together police, intelligence service and government bodies to tackle the problem. Starmer says no more gimmicks. This government will tackle the smuggling gangs who trade the lives of men, women and children across borders. Martin Hellick's unique experience will leave a new era of international enforcement to dismantle these networks and protect our shores and bring order to the asylum system. In Rome, Starmer and Hellick will visit Italy's National Coordination Centre for Migration and hold talks with Italian business leaders ahead of a UK investment summit next month. The Italian Premier had strong personal support rapport with Starmer's Conservative predecessor Rishi Sunak, who came to Rome last December as a guest star, along with Elon Musk at a political festival organised by Meloni's far-right Brothers of Italy party. Meloni came to power promising to curb the inflow of irregular migrants arriving in Italy without permission from across the Mediterranean, a hot-button issue for her party and its core supporters. And since then, Italy has increased financial support to Tunisia and Libya for a crackdown on human traffickers and intercepting migrant boats setting out to cross the Mediterranean. Her government has also restricted the activities of humanitarian groups such as Médecins Sans Frontières that rescue migrants at risk of drowning at sea, and these actions even include impounding the charity's rescue vessels for weeks or months at a time, 23 times since taking power. Wow. So literally they are allowing people to, allegedly, so the Italian government are allowing these people to die, those who are going out of their way to try and cross, allegedly. A year ago, Meloni unveiled a controversial deal with Albania for the construction and operation of 2 migrant holding centres where Italian authorities will hold and quickly process the asylum claims of up to 36,000 irregular migrants rescued by Italy's own Coast Guard from precarious situations at sea each year. Though the Albanian deal echoes the previous UK government's flagship Rwanda plan, Meloni's scheme is fundamentally different, as those deemed to have a valid asylum claim will be brought to Italy as refugees, while others will be held at Albania Centre until they can be deported. Under the Rwanda plan, successful asylum seekers would have to remain in Rwanda. Yeah, the Rwanda scheme was a dead one. The Albanian plan, which is already running behind schedule and over budget, has been fiercely criticised by the Council of Europe, human rights organisations and Italy's opposition at a costly piece of political theatre would do little to deter people from trying to reach Europe, while leading to potential human rights violations, including lack of fairness to asylum seekers. Prosecutors are pushing for Italy's far-right Deputy Prime Minister Mario Draghi to spend 6 years in prison for barring a humanitarian boat carrying nearly 150 migrants from docking in Italy for nearly 3 weeks. But though the Albanians' career centres have not started to function, Melody's approach generated interest elsewhere in Europe, including in Brussels. Other European leaders are also looking at how they could hold migrants outside their own borders while they process their asylum claims. A person briefed on Starmer's trip to Italy said the Albania plan was not on the agenda for discussion with Melody on Monday, as it was not something that we are looking at. Well, so they say, really. So they say. So obviously, by the time you guys see this, more information will come out from the discussions on this. Whether Keir Starmer will actually announce something will be interesting, to say the least. But I do think it's interesting, to say the least, that Keir Starmer has been in Italy, spending time there to obviously, with the border security, with his new border security and command boss, will obviously be taking ideas and whatnot from them to try and help reduce the gangs. But like I said, guys, the key is having safe legal routes, and we don't have safe legal routes to the UK, and as long as we don't have them, we will always have people trying to cross. But the question is as how we reduce the numbers. And I do believe that this government will actually reduce the numbers. It's just going to take a case of just taking time to do so. But we'll obviously keep an eye on it as things go. That is for sure, you guys. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make of Keir Starmer meeting the Italian Prime Minister? What do you guys make of the system that Italy has? Do you think the UK should have a similar system? Or do you agree with me that we should have safe legal routes for people to come to the UK and claim asylum should they want to? There. Let me know your thoughts and more down in the comments section below. If you found this video interesting, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further and support me and the work that I do here, you could do so by becoming a YouTube member for just 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.